Hello and welcome to another Starcraft 2 commentary video, and that was an awful probe split. Anyway, this is me, Gumjabar, the red Protoss on the bottom left of Typhoon Peaks, and my opponent is the blue Terran, Scott Manimus, at the top right. And this is going to be a game about dealing with Terran who are going Marine-Tank, because this is gaining some popularity recently, and I'm going to show off exactly how to deal with it. And it's not difficult if you see it coming, in my opinion. You do have to change some things about the way that you play, because they're doing a different type of strategy than Bio. You have to play things a little more like Brood War, actually. But, you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm scouting out. I like to scout vertical positions first on this map because I go by the watchtower. That's just my own preference. I'm not sure what the rush distances are in comparison, but they seem about similar. So that's what I do. And just making my gateway. Terran's making his barracks. Everything's totally normal. You'll notice something the Terran is not doing, and that's taking a gas geyser. This threw me off a little bit when I will, you know, spot it soon, but this is actually, I really like this build from Terran. I gotta be honest. I think it flows really nicely to open with no gas and then transition into tanks. So yeah, well, let's take a look at what I'm scouting here. I see no gas and barracks. That's basically the only important thing I'm seeing at this point. And on this map in these positions, I'm really thinking fast expansion right now. What am I doing? I'm just getting my cyber core, getting a Zealot. In retrospect, against no gas Terran, I think I might skip the Zealot, ideally, and go for the first Stalker instead, but it's not really a big deal. And I'm getting my assimilator. Terran is not making SCVs because he wants to expand. Here it is. With exactly one Marine, he is expanding. Bit risky, but you know what? I'm not going to punish him for it. I'm going to kill the scouting SCV. And actually, I'm making a sentry first, primarily because I knew he wasn't doing any fast Reaper. There's no add-on in this barracks, there was no gas. I'm not worried about Reapers, so I just go straight for the sentry. I think that that's a fine decision. And because I scouted no gas and it looked a lot like a fast expansion, I'm going for Robo after my first gateway. A lot of the time, if I see a bio opening or something that could give me pressure, I will open with 2 gateways and then the Robo Bay, but in this instance, I didn't see much that he could do to pressure me, and I'm going for this faster sentry, so all things considered, I just decided I could get away with the Robo Bay as my second building. Meanwhile, Terran did chase my probe out, only barely surviving, but I need to be active with this probe and keep scouting. You'll notice that I actually saw the bunker, and that confirmed my suspicion for the fast expansion. You don't put a bunker down here if you're not fast expanding, so that's a bit weird. And he is getting double gas, getting a factory, another barracks. So like I said, I think that this actually works very well. This is kind of like a Brood War type expansion. He's going to get that bunker on low ground, get the Marines in there, get ready to repair the bunker and everything, maybe build a second bunker even. There's a second bunker. And he's going to get tanks and wall off, and I think it's a really nice sort of minimal defense expansion that progresses nicely into the tech that you want. And as soon as I, was comfortable doing it, I plopped down my own expansion here. I do not have a whole lot of units either. I actually went for 2 Stalkers And that, I would say, is not standard. I don't usually do this. So if I just cut the Stalker and then stuck to sentries, this Expo might have gone down faster. Even so, I've got my Observer just now getting into his base. Let's see what I'm checking out. And I see the factory with Tech Lab. That definitely means tanks. But notice, I don't see a starport, and I see more than one barracks. If this were like a more heavy mech type of build, he would have more than one factory. If this were, you know, some kind of super annoying like Banshee tank, he would definitely have a starport with a Tech Lab by now. He would have gone, well, you know, he'd have that. He doesn't have it yet. So I see more than one barracks and just one factory, so that to me signals a bio-tank army. And to play against bio-tank, you actually play it the same way, in terms of the units you make, as against regular bio. You make colossus. And a lot of charge lots and some stalkers. So those are the units that I'm going to make based on what I've seen at this point of the game. And I always do this. I leave my observer right over the tower as it's being constructed because I'm not paying attention. So finally there's a starport going down. He's getting stim, making tanks. He's got siege mode up and running. He's got a great defensive position here. And he is just a little supply blocked, so not a big deal. Probably should be getting these gas because I do want Colossus, actually. And I'm getting my Twilight Council. This is something else I do against Bio Tank, is go for a fast charge. And I've been doing this against pure Bio as well, but the reason it works so well against Bio Tank is because charge Zealots you know, get up and close to the Marines and the Bio, and the tank splash starts damaging the Terran's own Bio units. So that's why I get charged pretty quickly. Meanwhile, what I'm going to be doing here is getting as close to the front line of the Terran as I can and containing him. This is something that you would do in Brood War. The tanks, if they unsiege and move out, like if the tanks here all just unsieged and walked straight over to my base, that would be terrible. I would just kill it with my army here. So obviously he can't do that. He's going to see this army. He's going to have to stay defensive and stay sieged. This prevents him from, you know, right now if I did let him get over here to this like choke point and siege up, and then start crawling toward my nexus, that could be a problem to me. So I want to delay any push that he decides to make. If he does want to siege out and push on me, he's going to have to crawl his tanks all the way across the rush distance of this map, all the way across this. And each step of the way, I want to be sort of doing this, just sort of being there and making him engage slowly. This is what I want. Meanwhile, I'm preparing a third base. Yeah, he's making Banshees at this point, which is super annoying, and we'll see my response to that soon. At this point, I'm just slowly crawling backward. I, you know, want to avoid too much damage. I have my Immortal in front, so any tank leapfrog will damage that, and that's not a big deal. And he's scouting out with the Marines. That's totally fine. I'm going to camp out at this watchtower. And here comes the Banshee. Let's check out what I see. Yep, Banshee. And at this point, I'm getting super worried about Cloak. I don't know if this Banshee has Cloak or not, so I have to sort of retreat. And that actually is a big deal. I need to fall back or he's going to start sniping my Colossi with Cloak Banshees. And you can see I have to chrono out an Observer now. And the fact that I did pull back means that he can do exactly this thing that I was so afraid of. He gets to run right up to my base, and I'm really worried about this. So I'm just waiting until this Observer comes out, and then I'm going to move forward yet again. Now, Terran if you're doing a push like this, has to be really careful running forward like this. And notice I've got the observer, I'm moving back toward the front. I'm going to move as close to his army as I can until I notice that he sieges and then I have to retreat. I see that he's not sieged, so I move in and just attack. And I run in and just get as close to the tanks as possible while firing. And he's got absolutely nothing. I have my third base. Game's over. So what we're going to do is go back and look at this battle again, because I sort of didn't have enough time to talk about it while it was happening. Alright, so Terran used the potential of threat of Cloaked Banshees to get some map control, forcing me to retreat. Now that I wait until I have my observer, and then my plan is, I don't know where his army is right now, to move, to just attack move all the way up here until I get to his tank line, which I assume is sieged. If he were smart, he would probably be sieged like right here. And at that point, I would retreat and, again, make him leapfrog slowly toward me. And while I, massed up more forces. So instead, I encounter an unsieged tank army. Oh boy, that's like, discovering candy in a gold mine with gold everywhere, and the candy is not bad because it's been in a gold mine. It's actually tasty, and I'm finished with this metaphor. I guess it's a simile. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So this is an awesome thing for me to find. This is amazing, right? It's also fortunate for me. He is going Banshees. And the later this game gets, the more I'm going to need a Stargate to start making Phoenixes. Because without Phoenixes, it'll be difficult to deal with the Banshee DPS. Instead, though, I'm kind of lucky because I'm getting to engage and kill this army so early on. He only has one. He has a second one in the back, but, this stuff isn't reinforcing yet. So I've got charge, as you'll notice. And I've got my observer. So if he had cloak, which coincidentally he doesn't, but if he had cloak, I could deal with that. And okay, so this tank army is unsieged. I'm going to instantly move in, sort of stop, shoot, Guardian Shield, of course, and just attack. And I just crush through this army. So why did I crush through that army? Well, the Marines just melt to colossi. Like, it's not even close. They just stop existing once colossus are on the field. Charge-a-lots do the same thing, basically. With Guardian Shield and Charge, the Zealots shred Marines, and the tank splash is hurting the Marines as well. So let's go back one more time. I'm going to slow motion that battle. Alright, so here we go. Now, slow motion this battle. Just check the health bars. Look at the Marines dying because of their own friendly splash. And the Zealots. Bam. The splash is actually hurting the Marines a lot. And once it comes down to pure tank against all of this, then that's just game over right there. I think I could have had this third base up faster also. And he was going for his own third. I'm not sure about that, actually. I mean, I like it, but I guess it's okay as long as he wasn't being risky and just pushing in like he did. If he was trying to contain me and take a third or push toward one of my other bases, maybe that would be fine. Yeah, so it's really, I think, not difficult to play against this style. I mean, just notice what I'm doing here. It's not that hard, but Terran has a lot of options. I think the Marines, after the very early game, are just not a good choice. I think that Terran should switch into Marauder tank, or even like Blue Flame Hellion tank and just go pure mech. I think that's a better option. And furthermore, I think he should be harassing with his Banshees while he's, sieging and slow pushing up this way. The Banshees should be used like vulture drops in Brood War as a harassment tool while you're pushing. I think that that's really strong, and it's difficult for the Protoss to deal with that kind of thing, especially Cloaked Banshees, because they have to have so many observers to deal with multiple Cloaked Banshees at once. Yeah, I guess that's all that I have to say for this analysis. Yeah, so I hope this helped you a little bit in understanding how to play against this Marine tank kind of thing. And yeah, if you're Terran, I have to say, unless it's a one-base push, and even that is not that strong, to probably switch away from the Marines in the mid-game. Tanks, I'm all for, but maybe something else to back it up. All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.